I'm a Lars main. He looks stupid, disgusting cool with all the new lightning effects. I've been waiting for this. Apologies for the overuse of phrases looks like, seems like, because in my excitement, I might get something incorrect upon initial glance. So go ahead and tell me what you see in the comments below. Anyways, let's get into it. First move we see is the first part of Multiplied Force, Rising 2, which seemingly now Lars can go into Tower Cannon from here. This used to be accessible as a while rising move, however, after performing this 3 button, Lars can convert into crouch stance, which is something he could do in Tekken 7 with standing 3, kickstart. So he can either now access kickstart or tower canning from a Rising 2 Multiplied Force. I'm having trouble deciphering which one it is. By the way that Lars turns his shoulder here, makes me think that this is tower cannon, and perhaps they've combined both moves into one. Lars mains, always vocal, have stated how much they found standing 3 in Tekken 7 pretty damn useless. But from this 3 button here, starting from Rising 2, Lightning Starter giving it newfound power, Lars converts back into crouch stance and we have a new move. It looks like a 1 button, but it can't be streamer, Rising 1 from crouch. So I thought perhaps 1+3 because Lars moves forward a bit, or maybe down forward while in crouch, 1+2, double smack, redone into single smack, strong pimp hand. Or maybe going into this crouch stance in Tekken 8 grants access to different moves that a regular crouch will not. But you're probably already furiously typing it out in the comments. This appears to be Avalanche Spike without the avalanche, the ice cream without the calories. What I mean by that is Avalanche Spike outside of usage in 2018 is pretty useless. Lots of animations have to happen for this move to impact, so the devs did well to remove such a hindrance. Whatever the input, I don't see the neon homing effect, but this move does have tracking as Jack tries and fails to step, and it forces opponents into crouch. Jack goes for a knee attack it looks like, and we see Avalanche Flip is back. And according to this trailer, the devs really want Lars players to implement this into their game come Tekken 8, but this could just be for flair, which Lars does not lack in this shiny new game. It comes complete with the shiny new weapon named Lars Alexanderson. Next, we have the first part of Hell Sweep into a new attack. Looks like 4-4-3-2, and from here, pressing forward, or just naturally this attack goes into dynamic entry, where we have yet another new move. Kind of. Perhaps that safe low Lars players have been dreaming of, albeit out of a stance. Maybe it's dynamic entry down 4? This low attack is, or once was, the second part of Legionnaire's spin. 1-4. The 4 portion now available for use out of Din stance. It has some tracer effect here akin to a homing move in Tekken 7. Not sure is this a visual indicator of something or just a cool ass effect. If Jack 8 were to sidestep, would this visual effect spread out and reveal itself to be homing? Tell me what you think. On hit in Tekken 7, this low was +1. Here, this low has enough plus frames that Jack attacking, Lars strikes with a counter hit. He still has magnetic knee, and man, he looks the part. But before we celebrate some new plus frames, Jack, after being hit by, for all intents and purposes, Legionnaire's spin, he goes for down forward 2, a 15 frame move. In Tekken 7, if Jack does down forward 2 after being hit by the low 4, it's the same result. So +1 Legionnaire spin in Tekken 7 could very well be the same in Tekken 8. Still a cool addition though, on how you can gain access to the move. Of course, Storm Axle, better known as Orbital Hill, makes the party as well. This is 2 or 4-2, as if about to perform Death Mask, or another move for Lars that starts with 4-2, Charge Factor. Save Lars goes into the storm, literally the name of the move. So 4-2 into 1+2 into the storm, reanimated, or it looks like some kind of variation of into the storm, or better yet, maybe just a new string all on its own, which I think puts him back into crouch. And then Rising Force, no key charge needed. Maybe while rising 1+2, but Rising Force from crouch into bound. Damn, giving Lars options out here. I like it. Yes. Dynamic entry, complete with trailing lightning streaks and sound effects in the trailer. Very nice touch. So now Jack 8 can get jacked up. Dynamic entry 2, Rimfire, into Mr. Swag Style Points Avalanche Stomp, complete with all the lightning effects your heart could ever desire. Now this is something I've attempted to replicate in Tekken 7. Launch attack, Den, Rimfire while Jack is floated in the air, and then Ava Stomp. Don't work, and I've never seen anybody do it. So this new thing you can do, is it worth doing in terms of damage, or is it just pure Lars swag out? Time will tell. Here we get into what Lars still has. Still has Rising 2. Press down to get back. This is definitely Into the Storm. And still has Hell Sweep. This advertising the destructible environment, just in case you forgot. They animate the character covering their eyes from the explosion. With all the flash and fire, I do appreciate little subtle things like that. And Lars combos with back 3, silent entry, Hurricane Axle. Given to him in Tekken 7, it returns in Tekken 8. Sounds a little evil. Don't be surprised by Lars' heel turn. Just saying. It happens, I called it. If it don't, I never said nothing. Did I mention our boy is looking fucking fire? That's fire though. He is looking fucking dope. Forward 1+2, elbow Corona. Because it's a counter hit launcher, not something to make into a heat engager, right? Dynamic entry 1 into Heat Burst, which is a karate chop down attack. Remember, Lars' martial art is one that for some portion is completely made up. So it's good to see him have a traditional boards don't hit back karate chop to go with all the lightning. HE combination for a new Tornado Bound, Outpost Blitz, down forward 3-3 to finish it off proper. From my standpoint, the devs are giving Lars more offensive options and conversions into things he couldn't do before. Rising Force from crouch, Legionnaire spin from Den stance, and access to his stomp, stack up from dynamic. That if your opponent gets hit upon wake up in Tekken 7, Lars is like -3. Here, it knocks your opponent off their feet, and this looks guaranteed, like Leo's back 1-4 on counter hit, for instance. Perhaps Kaz can block, but we see our first heat engager here. Silent entry, lightning thrust, silent entry 1. Run up, and Lars will not be outdone by his nephew when it comes to Hellfire Blue Sparks anime flip kicks all over the screen. I'll leave it to you to guess the input, but this does look like Heat Smash because of all the flare. Sin's Kaz into a knockdown to set up some nice ground game situations out. It does look like you might be able to combo after this though. I originally stated my entire breakdown of the heat system, link in the upper right hand corner if these new mechanics have you all confused did. I don't think you'll be able to combo after your character's heat smash. Kazuya's and Paul's saying as such, but for both Lars and Jin, it looks like you can. Perhaps I'll stand corrected. Wait and see. A problem Lars has to me in Tekken 7 is a bit too much of his stuff coming out of dynamic or stance. Perhaps just locking down his character into his identity, maybe Tekken 8 will prove to be the same. Because another new move looks flashy, reminds me of Terry Bogard, but it's another heat engager that comes out of a stance. It most certainly low crushes though. Perhaps silent entry back 3, something like that. Kazuya ballerina spins on hit, and Lars, lighting up that engager, does some sort of super cool looking Thor shoulder armor move. So heat engager, run up, they press, you can just power on through. Kazuya hit by this, knocks back for plus frames, while after the shoulder, Lars can go into silent entry, seemingly holding on to said plus frames, and then he does this. Silent entry into crouch stance. Tekken 7, Lars can go into dynamic, into silent, crouch stance into dynamic off of an attack, crouch stance into silent again off of an attack, but silent entry canceling into crouch, that's new. And that can change the game for Lars. He is highly vulnerable to attack in both Den and Sin stances. High octane offense, balanced by the fact that he can't block. The road to mastering Lars comes from learning to cancel out of Den. But as I've said before, in silent entry, you are in it. You are down in it in Tekken 7 with no way to cancel. But now being able to cancel out into crouch stance, my man Lars can quickly block compared to just being stuck in silent entry stance. Crouch from Sin into the same lion claw low attack we saw earlier in the trailer. Avalanche spike without the avalanche. This time we get a mini cutscene of Lars attempting to take the cool move crown. He will not be outdone by anybody. Did he land this on counter hit though? Kazuya doesn't look like he pressed a button, but simply sidestepped. But Lars' heat is active, so a part of Lars' heat trait is this move, perhaps several of them having added offense on hit. Kazuya spinning in the background. I wonder if you can convert for a combo. Third heat engager, dynamic entry. 1-2, double barrel, canceled into a dash. Lars looks fucking phenomenal. Absolutely going to be fun to play with. But I don't like how much the heat engager stuff is wrapped around Den stance or stances. Heat engager moves are the ones the devs want players to learn first. This screaming too much of his playstyle being predicated on this particular stance. However, I'm not saying he's going to be weak or anything like that. Just stating my opinion. His fourth heat engager I know of, coming from 443, Electric Jolt. This may very well complete his list of heat engagers, as the devs have stated every character will have 4 to 5. Heat dash into yet another new move. For some reason it reminds me of alternating current in Tekken Tag 2, but elbow into silent entry. A new move that gives us a new way to get into silent entry. That's new. That's good. We like that. That's very good. Up forward 1, maybe? Your guess is as good as mine. It reminds me of Surge Blast 442. Don't think about that name too much. But this comes out of Sim. So, another one. New move. That Tornado Bounce. Charge factor into Silent Entry 1 that still drags the ops across the screen. Den Entry, Rimfire, Rage Art. Lars calls lightning from the skies. I'll just let this play in real time here. I still like Kazuya's as the best Rage Art we've seen so far, but Lars is going for that zipping around DBZ anime crown. I know as a Lars main, it's sacrilege to say, but this is my second favorite Rage Art so far. Lars becomes the lightning. He is the lightning. Very DC Flash-like, creating all this dust-up, storm cloud mayhem in his wake. No longer will Lars' Rage Art knock his opponent away, taking away any ground game he would want to set up. Now both Lars and his opponent don't even know where the fuck they are. Somewhere in the smoke. All the smoke. The price of cool, I suppose. They have retooled Lars, made some things flow into other things better, and seemingly added a few things to paint Lars as a full picture. How it all shakes out, we'll have to wait and see. So, here's a starter pack for Lars if you're looking to get into Tekken, and use Lars as your main if you're new, as well as a little tips and tricks look at some stuff Lars can do. Anyway, laters.